What is up, woke family? It's your boy Woke Bucks, and I'm back again with another live stream. So the topic that I'll be discussing in this live stream today is in regards to what it takes to become a part of the top 20% of men, and as well how to find your purpose. The one thing that we have to understand as men is that majority of men are on the bottom 80% of the totem pole. What do I mean by that? A lot of dudes are low value. A lot of dudes don't get choosing signals from women. A lot of dudes don't get respect from other men. A lot of dudes are not finding their purpose. A lot of dudes are not putting themselves in a situation in order for people to be able to respect them. And that is because they're not looking towards developing their purpose. They're not looking towards putting themselves in opportunities in order to be able to become more successful. And you have to understand, when you're not improving in the 5 areas of your life, you put yourself in a position to become low value, right? What are those 5 areas of your life that you can literally improve? All right, we're going to dissect that today. Um, the 5 areas in which you can improve your life are spiritually, first and foremost, right? Mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally. If you can specifically pick one of those 5 things that I mentioned to really use to improve your life, you are putting yourself in the top 20% of men worldwide. So let's dissect this, right? You have to understand something, right? Like I said, a lot of dudes are not in that high value range because they don't take care of themselves. Excuse me. They wake up in the morning, they smoke weed, they play video games. Afternoon, smoke weed. Evening, smoke weed. Afternoon, play video games. Evening, play video games. Leeching off of their parents, not trying to have any sort of ambition, no goals, right? Nothing that drives them, bro. And then people wonder why they put themselves in a situation to become depressed, if you even consider depression a real thing, right? Or whatever the situation may be. They become sad, they become angry. It's like, bro, you're not putting yourself in positions to become successful, right? You're not putting yourself in a position to become wealthy. You're not putting yourself in a position to become in better physical shape. What are you doing the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? What are you doing first in the morning? How are you occupying your time throughout the day? How are you being productive? How are you finding your purpose? What are you specifically doing that is causing you to be in this area that you are in your life? And what can you improve upon in order to become higher value? These are the things that one has to sincerely ask themselves on a daily basis, because I'm gonna be honest with you, every man has the ability to be in the top 20% of men, aka being a high value man. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, every dude wants to be in a position where they're gonna be respected by girls that they find attractive, or be respected by their peers, right? For having a chiseled physique, right? Or being able to make a lot of money, right? You buy the Jordans, you buy the chains, and listen, I'm not knocking those things. They're wonderful. But the thing is that you have to build yourself up first before you indulge in those things. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't build yourself up to be able to get to that point, then you're just enjoying things that are going to come and go. That's the reality. You want them to stay long term. How do you do that? You have to build yourself up to that point. So let's really dive into this. First thing one should do to really put themselves in that top 20% of men, listen, this isn't talked about a lot in this community, in this manosphere. Why? Because the thing is that people are trying to get you to realize that if you become high value in the sense of you making money, that's all you have to do to become high value. No, there are 5 different ways in which one can become high value, aka being part of the top 20%. First thing we're going to talk about spiritually. People don't address this enough. You have to develop that spiritual relationship with the Most High God. I cannot stress it enough, right? Whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Greek, a Gentile, right? I mean, obviously, I know those aren't religions, but I'm just saying in general. Whichever you decide to do, you have to be able to develop that relationship with God so he can be your spiritual companion through this journey of life. Because a lot of people do not understand this life that we're living is not only physical, it's also spiritual, which means you have a spiritual body, right? You have a spiritual body. So if you're not feeding that spiritual body through developing that relationship with God, asking God, how are you going to be able to achieve those things in which he's called you for on this earth? You're going to live a life that has no purpose. You're going to live a life that has no meaning. So when you're sad, you see why you're sad, because you're not full inside. How do you become full? Developing that relationship with God. You got to develop that relationship with God, because this is the thing you have to understand. Everything else that's going to come into your life that's going to be good has to start off with the relationship that you develop with God first. If you do not develop a good relationship with God, it's going to be hard for good things to happen in your life. Let me repeat that again. If you do not develop a good relationship with God, it's going to be hard for good things to happen in your life. Why? You have to seek God first for him to bless you in your life. For those who don't believe in God, they're going to say, oh, why do you have to seek God? Listen, some people, right, they're successful without knowing God. But the thing is that deep down inside, they're not happy. This is the problem with our society. A lot of people believe that the people that are the most successful, right, or people that are successful to an extent and that are making a lot of money and that are living in these nice houses, you guys think that they're fully sane. But you don't know that they're on the brink of committing S-side. We're going to just call it S-side, right? They're on the brink of committing S-side. Why? Because the thing is that they're not content inside. They're not happy. Because this is the thing. They either do one of the two things. They either sold their soul to be able to make that money, or they did not develop that relationship with God. So they thought that the money was going to be good enough for them to be able to live the life of abundance. But how can that money be a life? How can that money be good enough for you to be able to live that life of abundance if you do not figure out what your purpose is for, right? People are so unhappy because the thing is that they think that money is going to solve their issues. It's going to solve some issues, but it's not going to solve your personal relationships that you have with people, right? Especially if you have bad relationships with people, especially if you have certain things that are going on in your life, certain addictions, right? The only person that can solve that is God, bro. Bro, I cannot stress it enough. You got to develop that relationship with God in order for you to be able to be full. Every other thing that you want in your life, as long as you put in the work and you're praying, it's going to come. But you got to develop that relationship, bro. In my opinion, I think that's the most important thing that you can do to become high value, developing that spiritual relationship. Let's dive into topic number 2. A lot of dudes do not take care of themselves, bro. I cannot stress this enough. They don't go to the gym. They don't eat clean. They look sloppy. You have to understand what you put in your mouth is going to be a reflection of what your body looks like, bro. And am I saying that you shouldn't eat crap once in a while? Go ahead, man. But probably at most once a week. You don't want to make it an ongoing thing. And then from there, you stop going to the gym, or you're not going to the gym at all. And all you're doing is sitting at home eating, right? You got to work on your physique. It's so important, especially as a young man in his mid to late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, until the day you die. You got to work on your body. You got to work on your physique. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay active. It is so vital to your success. If you do not prioritize yourself, no one else is going to prioritize you. Let me repeat that again. If you do not prioritize yourself, no one else is going to prioritize you. A lot of people tend to neglect their bodies. They tend to neglect going to the gym. It looks sloppy, especially as a man. You look sloppy and you still want respect. That's not how life works. People don't respect people. They respect results. Let me repeat that again. People don't respect people. They respect results. Results can't lie. Numbers don't lie. You feel what I'm saying? If you don't put in the work, it's not going to show for anything, right? You got to put in the work on your physique. You have to get better. You have to look stronger. You have to be sharper. You have to be more disciplined. These are the things that you have to work on, because this is the thing people believe, that I can afford to be sloppy as a man, and that the girl that I want is going to want to come into my life. No, you guys, we understand that we as men, we're actually realistic. We're not delusional. The opposite sex, on the other hand, that's a different story, right? Because they can be sloppy and a dude is going to probably want to come after them. But you as a dude, if you look sloppy, you're literally lowering your SMV. On top of lowering your SMV, you're making it hard for women to want to come into your life. So you have to take care of your physique. That's number 2 in my book. Spirituality comes first, physique, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to always lift weights. You can do cardio too, right? It depends on the type of look you're going for. But what I would advise for one to do is to look for more of like an aesthetic look. So at least your body composition is a lot more equal than you having bigger arms and then your legs are weak as hell. You feel what I'm saying? So that's completely up to you to decide. But you have to be in the gym one way or another. Or at least if you're not going to be in the gym, do some type of home workouts to be able to somewhat control your body mass composition, bro, and eat clean, right? There's so many other options of what you could eat. You got oatmeal, you got chicken, you got turkey, you got mixed vegetables, you got fruits, apples, pears, oranges, bananas. There's so many things, so many healthy things that you could eat on a daily basis. Fish, right? If you're Nigerian, just like me, you know what I'm saying? Most of the food that we eat is from the ground up. So we got so many healthy options of what we could eat. We got beans, we got plantains, we got yams, we got chicken. I mean, you feel what I'm saying? We got different soups. There's so many things. Even if you're somebody from a different culture, right? Let's say, for instance, you're Hispanic, Mexican, Puerto Rican. Y'all got a lot of decent foods that you could eat that are not probably fried, are healthy. If you're European, English, Polish, Ukrainian, Russian, you feel what I'm saying? There's so many things you could eat. So many things. So many recipes you could search up. You go to the grocery store, you have them delivered to you, you eat clean. Make it a habit. That's all I'm saying. Let's get into the third thing. You have to work on yourself when it comes to finances, right? Especially as a man. I don't think people take it. I don't think people take it as a serious thing, and it's so important, right? Like I said, people tend to not respect other people. What they tend to respect are results. If you're making the money, it's going to show by the clothes you wear. It's going to show by the attitude you possess. And I'm not saying that as you make money, you have to wear the most expensive clothes. No, but at the same time as well too, you definitely want to focus on trying to level up when it comes to your appearance. Just because you're making more money doesn't mean that you have to wear clothes that are not going to make you appear. Because remember, I'm not going to say appearance is everything, but appearance is important to an extent. And just because I'm saying that appearance is important doesn't mean that I'm saying you have to wear all the Gucci product. No, make yourself look presentable in public, right? Make yourself look presentable in public. Make yourself look good. Wear clothes that fit you. Wear clothes that look good on you. That doesn't mean that you have to break the bank to wear those clothes. No, that's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, as well to look presentable, right? If you need certain ideas of what you need to wear, sometimes you can go on Instagram and go see people that look just like you, or not just like you, but very similar to the way you are, whether it's your skin complexion, your hair, or whatever. Look at what they wear and see if that's what fits you, and if that's what you want to wear, then wear something close to it. But you got to prioritize these things. They're so important, bro. You feel what I'm saying? But regardless, let's not get too much off topic because this is about finances. What the clothes you wear goes more into physique. With that being said, there's no reason why every single man that's watching this video should not either have a job or a business. What I advise men to do personally is to develop more of an entrepreneurial mindset. Why? Because this is the thing you have to understand. Unless you have a career in whatever you're doing, jobs are temporary. You have to have that mentality that a job is temporary. One day they might like you, one day they want to get rid of you. If you don't start using the money that you're making from your job, also known as earned income, to invest into assets that are going to yield you that cash flow, you're in trouble. Let me repeat that again. If you do not start using the money that you're earning from your job, aka earned income, and investing in assets that are going to be able to guarantee you that cash flow in the future, you're in trouble. There are so many different things in which you can invest in that are going to be able to yield you money, right? Or yield you certain types of, how do I say it, guarantee against the manipulation of the central government. Because I'm telling you, you see these dollar bills that people are carrying, there's going to get to a point where you're not going to see that anymore. Honest to everything I love. You have to start becoming woke and seeing the truth for the way it is. Things are going to get bad very soon, especially in this country we live in. You have to be woke and see the truth and accept it as a truth and move forward. What are some of the things that you can invest in now? You can invest in digital real estate. You can also invest in real estate, right? But before you invest in anything, any asset specifically, you want to make sure you do your research. There are so many videos on YouTube you can watch about how to invest in real estate, how to invest in stocks, right? Specifically dividend yielding stocks. What are dividend yielding stocks? These are stocks in which you can basically be able to have people send you money within a 2 to 3 month period every single quarter, right? There are so many things. You have cryptocurrencies. How do you make money off of cryptocurrencies? Through capital gains. So let's say, for instance, you invest $25 or $50 into crypto, and you yield a $60 return, or $75 return, or $100, or whatever the situation may be. You can cash out and take that money. The only thing you have to be careful for is that there's a possibility that you're going to eventually end up paying tax on what you withdrew. So you want to kind of flip it into a 1031 exchange, right? But there's so many different ways you can do it. But you got to start learning about money. Remember, the reality is that in school, they don't teach you about how money works. Let me repeat that again. In school, they don't teach you about how money works. So when you're in a situation where you're in the real world and you're trying to build your business or you're trying to build your network and you do not know how money works, you're going to end up blowing all the money that you had to begin with, right? So your goal is to use the money that you're making from your job and invest into assets that are going to be able to help you either build cash flow or guarantee manipulation from the central government. What are some of the assets that you can literally invest into guarantee manipulation against the central government? Gold and silver coins. Gold is expensive. I won't lie to you. 1 ounce is what? 1,855, I think. Last time I checked, it's probably like a week ago. You don't have to invest in a whole ounce of gold. You can invest in 1/10 of an ounce, which is roughly like that same between $200 and $300 if you can afford that. If not, what I would advise you to do is to invest in silver coins. You can find any silver coin right now for between $30 to $40. Buy 5, 6 of them. Start stocking onto them, or start stacking them. You feel what I'm saying? Start holding on to them, because long term, they're going to provide you that benefit against the manipulation of the central government, right? Because you have to understand, silver and gold both, especially gold, it has an inverse relationship with the dollar. So as the dollar goes down in value, gold is going up, silver is going up, right? They're precious metals. They're not going anywhere. They're God's money. They've been here since the beginning of time. Therefore, you want to invest in those things. Or there's another thing. So we've talked about crypto. We've talked about real estate. We've talked about stocks. We've talked NFTs is also another thing you can also invest into. That's the metaverse. I told you, especially with the reality that we're living in right now in this society, you can literally order something from the metaverse, like Domino's, and they deliver it to you in real time. Let me repeat that again. You could literally order Domino's, bro. You could literally order Domino's in real time, or not in real time, through the metaverse, and they deliver it to you in real time. The metaverse is the future. People are not talking about that. We want to invest in NFTs, right? Some might say, oh yeah, some of these NFTs are getting expensive, 100%. Because for example, you might buy an NFT at $500,000, and then from there it's a million a week after, 2 million a week after, so on and so forth. What I would advise you to do is put yourself in a position to be able to make some type of money first before you invest in the higher end NFTs. You know what I'm saying? So there's just so many things that you can literally put your money into and invest into. But these are the things that are going to be able to put you in a position to be able to become one of the top 20% of men. We have a couple more things to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see men succeed. I want to see men do well. I want to see men prosper. But you have to have that mentality of doing well. You have to have that mentality of being a go-getter, right? That's the entrepreneur mentality. Why? Because the thing is that what are you going to do when you're at a job and they fire you? Are you going to be in scarcity thinking that no more money is going to come in? Or are you going to go out and get it? What are you going to do? That's a choice that you have to make, and you have to be ready to face the consequences, whether they're good or bad. What I will say to you guys is that this world is a dog-eat-dog world and a cat-eat-cat world. You have to understand that the people that survive and that are the most prosperous are the entrepreneurs. They're not the employees or the small business. Well, small business owners to an extent are as well too. I'll put them in a very similar category with employees. Your goal at the end of the day is to put yourself in a position to either become a big investor or a big business owner if you really want to be able to profit in this world. That's your goal long term, in order to be able to see the results that you want to see. But you got to grind. You got to put in the work. You have to be ready to succeed. You have to be ready to shed blood and tears, blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of people are not ready to make that sacrifice. A lot of people are not ready to make that commitment, and they wonder why their lives are average. They wonder why they're in poverty for the majority of their lives. This is what I say, and I say this to myself on a daily basis. It's not my fault if I was born into poverty, or it's not your fault if you were born into poverty. But if you stay in poverty, that's completely your fault. Let me repeat that again. It's nobody's fault if you were born into poverty, but if you die in poverty, that's completely your fault. Especially if you live in America. I cannot stress this enough. Especially if you live in America. If you die in poverty living in America, it's completely your fault. Because the thing is that in the society we live in, they keep trying to lower the standards of how people should be every single year. They keep trying to lower the standards, giving people a reason for them to be not trying to self-improve, not trying to get better. There are no excuses, man. No one's coming to save you other than yourself. You got to put in the work. You got to be ready to succeed. You got to be ready to break the barriers, bro. I'm telling you, especially with the way the society is going right now, everything's getting more expensive. Situations are getting worse. You have to become stronger, bro. There's no excuses. What is your excuse for not becoming stronger, bro? You got to get it, bro. You got to have the mentality to go out there and go get it, G. Real talk. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the woke family. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. We speak the truth on this channel. You feel what I'm saying? We have to get better. There are no excuses in 2022. You have to be able to take, especially as a man, because you have to understand, most people that in this world, they don't care about us, bro. Whether we live or whether we die, they don't care. You got to be ready to go out and go get it. You got to grit it out. You feel what I'm saying? If you don't grit it out, what are you doing? What are you doing? Real talk. Let's really talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get into number 4. Mental. Like I said before, you're either going to use your brain as an asset or a liability. Let me repeat that again. You're either going to use your brain as an asset or a liability. What is an asset? An asset is a thing that brings in money, right? An asset is a thing that brings in money. What are you doing in your life to be able to help you bring in money? How are you using your mental capacity? How are you using your brain to be able to bring you in more money? What are you doing? Are you thinking of ideas? Are you writing your ideas down? Are you executing on your ideas? You feel what I'm saying? Your brain has the ability to either make you more money or make you lose money. If you're not using your brain power in an effective way through logic to make more money, to be able to escalate or de-escalate situations, right? Then you're not using your brain power effectively. You're not using your logic effectively. We as masculine men of the Most High God, we were born with logic. Now it's completely up to us to determine whether we're going to use that logic effectively or not. But this is the reality. If we don't use that logic effectively, we have nobody to blame but ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We have nobody to blame but ourselves. So on a daily basis, there should be no reason why we're not trying to put ourselves in a position to self-improve. So we're using logic. You're going to have, like, this is, and I keep stressing this, man. Logic is like a combination of spiritual and emotional, right? You're going to have people want to leave your house on a daily basis that have a lot of demonic energy, but are cloaked in human being form, right? That are cloaked in human form. They're going to try to test you. They're going to try to try you. It's completely up to you to determine whether you're going to use logic to handle the situation and walk away, or address it in a respectful way without being rude or disrespectful or yelling at them, and then move about your business, or whether you're going to act emotional and start yelling at them, screaming at them, cussing at them, or cursing at them. That's completely up to you. Now let's dive into the last one. We just talked about it a little bit, but we're gonna really wrap it up and get into it, right? The last thing is emotional. You have to understand, especially as a man in this society, they've trained men to basically be emotional beta males. Let me repeat that again. As a man in this society, they've trained men, especially this newer generation, which we're a part of, to be emotional beta males. They want you to try to tap into your feminine side. They want you to act more like a woman, and then they train the women to become men. That's a problem. That's a very, very big problem. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We as people have to work on that. That's a serious issue, and that's causing men to become very effeminate, right? And that's not okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me as a masculine man, I'm gonna speak the truth. We got to work on that, man. There's no reason, there is no excuse for a man to not be in control of his emotions. Because now when he feels some type of way, what is he going to do? He's going to go start trying to shoot people and off them. He's going to start fighting people and knocking people out. Nah, bro. You have to learn how to be able to gain control over your emotions as a man. It is so vital towards your success. A lot of men are not going to tell you that. That's why it's like, if you don't have an OG masculine figure in your life that's guiding you, right, through God, on how to become the best man you can become, you're going to become an effeminate man. You're going to become a very feminine man, and you're not going to get respect from society or from women, right? When I say society, I'm specifically talking about men, but not that women are not a part of society. But with that being said, that's the truth. So we as men have to learn how to become masculine. We have to walk in our masculine path. How do we walk in our masculine path? You have to learn how to asserting your dominance more, becoming humble, humility, right? Learning how to walk away from situations, especially when you know that people are trying to escalate it, right? Learning how to not talk as much, right? You talk when it's necessary. When it's not necessary, you be quiet, right? And then other factors, right? When you as a high value man, right, are putting yourself in a position to be able to become better every single day, you have to set standards for not only yourself, but for the women that you're going to deal with in your life. And if those standards are broken by either you or her, you have to self-improve and get better if it's for you. But for her, you have to be ready to walk away and let her know that. So there are so many ways in which you can become part of the top 20%, like I've just mentioned. Now it's up to you to pick at least one if you're trying to become part of the top 20%. If you're trying to become part of the top 10%, you have to pick 2 to 3. And if you're trying to become part of the top 5%, either 4 or 5. Well, 5, I believe, is part of the top 1%. And then top 5 is 4 of those 5. So that's completely a choice that you have to make. But understand, you put yourself in the top 20% of men, a lot of things are going to be easier for you in this life. If you understand, it's because you're woke. If you don't understand, you're not woke. This is going to be into this live stream. If you like this live stream, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this live stream with your friends, subscribe to the channel at WokeEbucks, WokeEbuks. Tap the notification bell to get all the latest videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below, and so will social media links. Without further ado, this is going to be on this live stream. This is WokeEbucks, and I'm out, man.